Okay, so continuing with our discussion of halachot about how we situate and position ourselves physically during Tefilah. So Maran brings down in Siman Kuf Bet the halachot of not sitting within the four square amot of a person while they're in the middle of praying. And the reason for this is because when a person is in prayer, when a person prays, there's a very real conversation going on between him and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is listening. And therefore we say that the Shekhinah is found within the four amot of the person who is praying. It's not appropriate to be sitting in the presence of the Shekhinah. And therefore while a person is praying, the Amidah, the Yad Shema also, no one else is allowed to sit in the Dalet Amot, the four amot around that person. Now, how could we possibly carry out this halakha here in a shul, any place? No, you're not going to have four square amot, every person who's praying. So the answer is that if other people are praying also, then they're allowed to be within the four amot. Meaning, if you have someone who is saying the Amidah, the silent Shmona Esrei, and someone else is also praying, so there are poskim that write that it's okay for that person who is praying to also remain seated. Why? Because he's obviously not showing disrespect to the Shekhinah, because he himself is also engaged in Tefilah. The only time that would be disrespectful is just to remain sitting there while you're doing nothing. But if he's praying the Amidah and you're also praying some other portion of the Tefilah, then you're both showing respect to the Shekhinah, and therefore it's not necessary mikar adin for a person to stand up if he is praying also. Other poskim might also that if you are in the middle of studying Torah, either from a book or you are saying out words of Torah, so it's clear, it's not just in your head, so it's clear that you are also engaged in Tefilah, then that's also showing respect to the Shekhinah. And therefore, if it's hard for a person to stand up in that case, then it's not strictly speaking necessary. So again, if somebody is praying, and you are either in a situation where it's hard for you to stand up, you're also praying, but you're sitting down, you're in a different part of the Tefilah, or you're engaged in Limud Torah, then if it's hard for you to stand up, then it's okay, you're allowed to remain seated in those cases as well. Another case is if you are already sitting. Let's say I'm already sitting, and somebody else now begins to pray Shmona Esrei, the Amidah, next to me. Do I have to stand up or not? So it depends on whether or not we're praying with the minyan, or if the person is praying by himself. Maran writes that if I'm sitting down, I'm here, I'm doing something, I'm sitting, and someone else comes to stand next to me to say the Amidah, then technically speaking, I do not have to stand up, because he came into my territory, really. So the advantage, so to speak, is with me. I don't have to stand up because I was already sitting here first. However, the Rama writes, Midat Chasidut, that it's praiseworthy for you to stand up also. Why? Because it reflects poorly on this individual. What, he comes now to start praying, and I'm going to be seated because I don't have to stand up. So it's really bad for him. He put me in a situation where I'm now going to be sitting in the presence of the Shekhinah. So in order to help him in this case, that he shouldn't have made the wrong decision, it's midat chasidut to stand up. It's considered a praiseworthy thing to stand up. However, last halakha, this only applies in the context of a minyan. But if I'm sitting in the Beit Midrash, on the shul, and I'm studying, and somebody who missed the Tefilah comes and he starts to pray the Amidah next to me, within my four amot, I do not have to stand up in that case. The only time I would even have to stand up in midat chasidut is if it's in the context of a minyan. But if he comes in the middle of the day to pray the Amidah, mincha, shachrit, whatever it is, and I'm over here praying or I'm studying, whatever it is, but it's not the time of Tefilah, I do not have to stand up for him if he came not in the time of the Tefilah. Avichai kasha omer, יצא הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות צלפיכה, חרבה לכם טוב וצלח שלמה, עד חפץ, למען סיכוי ידין תורה וידין.